Let's start with a riddle. Why is a raven like a writing desk? Nonsense answers only. One line, go. You know how, when you're really obsessed with something, you start to see it everywhere? Lately, that's me with Alice in Wonderland. Except, I think Alice really is everywhere. Rabbit holes, drink me bottles, grinning Cheshire cats. Maybe it's a tattoo, latte art, a store window, or Alice herself at Disney World, basically a princess now.
Wonderland, how do you get to
Or at least she's in that zone people sometimes call Disney princess adjacent. I don't know, I just keep running into Alice everywhere, and you probably do too. And it's this everywhereness of Alice that has me asking why. What is it about Alice in Wonderland that has captivated us for so long? How can this story, written in 1865, still be so very alive today?
I sacrificed the old Alice so I could be reborn.
So these questions have been keeping me up at night, and now here I am sharing my rabbit hole thinking with you here on YouTube. And I want to hear your Alice obsessions too. What was your first Alice? What do you think made it stick?
Fine. Tea! Oh, I never thought of tea, of course. Tea!
Now, I'm certainly not the first person to wonder about all of this. Far from it. There's a whole ecosystem around Alice. Multiple societies, conferences, podcasts, piles of essays and books, and of course, video essays. It's comforting and just a little intimidating to join that chorus. For me, Alice in Wonderland is like an old friend, like family even. I can't remember a time when I didn't know her. At home we had a beautiful, slightly haunted edition with illustrations by Peter Newell, and those images lodged themselves somewhere deep inside me. Gorgeous, uncanny, weirdly palpable, a little creepy. I must have leafed through that book countless times until Alice and Friends became part of my inner world. For better or worse, that book imprinted on my early psyche.
Every now and again in my life, for no reason at all, I need you.
Fast forward, now I'm a media studies scholar who watches stories travel across time, across media, across cultures, and somehow I find myself invariably drawn back to Alice. Even when I'm not looking for her, she shows up. In film history, in animation, in PSAs, in idle games, she's everywhere. And the more I dig, the more I unearth what feels like an endless network of variations and increasingly wild interpretations. Which is why in this series, I'm tracing how different moments and media keep reshaping her. So come with me on a deep dive, down the rabbit hole, if you will, through the myriad adaptations of Alice in Wonderland.
I wonder if the bunny's down here. I can catch him now.
And here's a little warning. Things are going to get weird, and not just Tim Burton swirly weird, more like huge, oversized puppet head weird, ghosts of tiny murdered oysters weird. Maybe you saw the Tim Burton Alice in Wonderland films and you thought those were kind of out there, and we'll get to those in time. Though, spoiler, they're not my favorite for a bunch of reasons, but they're memorable, I'll give them that. But from the outset, Alice variations are all sorts of crazy, creepy, and uncanny. We're not trying to catalog every Alice ever made, that would take a lifetime, but we are going to spread the love. We'll spend time with lesser-known Alices, early theatrical Alices, weird experimental film Alices, pet food commercial Alices, mobile game Alices, and many more. We're skipping pastiche and fanfiction for now, think Alice Meets Frankenstein or Thor in Wonderland, just to keep focus. If that sounds fun for a follow-up, and drop your best recs. But here's what we are going to do. We'll look at all these different Alices and see how they handle the book's most memorable moments. What do they keep? What do they change? What gets left out? What do they add? And what gets weird, or even weirder?
And as for the pictures on the wall...
All of this opens up some pretty intriguing questions about why we reimagine stories and the value of adaptation, but more on that as we go. To lay the groundwork in this intro video, let's break down a few of the key building blocks of Alice in Wonderland. Okay, but honestly, there are so many building blocks, it makes my head spin. Seriously, what kind of crazy magic was at work inside Carol's brain? All of these characters and moments have basically become cultural shorthand 150 years later, and we haven't even touched Carol's sequel, Through the Looking Glass. I have notebooks upon notebooks of scrawls just trying to work this out. Practically every character and scene feels like the perfect little gem that I could happily analyze for hours. My family has started giving me concerned looks when I bring up Alice at dinner again. But choices must be made. I promise we'll circle back to explore some of the lesser-known Wonderland residents in later videos. And please lobby for your forgotten favorites in the comments. I'm curious which ones you're passionate about. But for now, here's my completely objective, totally scientific, not at all based on personal obsession, top 10 list of Wonderland Essentials. At number 10, drumroll please, the White Rabbit, dressed to the nines, hustling by. One glimpse of him and Alice chooses chaos and follows. And that's all it takes, our adventure begins. Coming in at 9th place, Alice's Eat Me, Drink Me moment, where she consumes mysteriously labeled treats that dramatically change her size. I feel like this could be a 1990s Stranger Danger PSA. Don't eat the mystery cookie, kids, especially if it asks you to in frosting. On to number 8, the River of Tears. Alice, trapped in her giant form, cries so much she creates her own personal flood. She almost drowns in her feels, literally. At number 7, the caterpillar sitting atop his magic mushroom, smoking his hookah and asking life's deepest questions.
Who are you?
Is he a life coach? The most frustrating NPC ever?
Well, I'm afraid I can't help you there.
Taking 6th place, the Queen of Hearts with her royal temper and favorite catchphrase, off with his head. I think she missed that workshop on strengthening trust with your employees. Number 5 brings us to the absurd trial over the stolen tarts. The Knave of Hearts, purportedly mind you, stole some tarts, and he really could have used Perry Mason to get him out of that one, or like any amount of due process. Seriously, I would throw down for his innocence.
Honor, I don't even like cherry pie.
That's for the jury to decide.
Coming in at number 4, the Cheshire Cat, who appears and disappears at will, leaving nothing but that iconic grin behind. Does she have any intention of helping? Probably not. Do we love her anyway? Of course. Is this a realistic depiction of a cat? Any cat owner will emphatically tell you yes.
Chaos is keeping people guessing, and that makes this kitty purr.
Okay, tension is building. We're getting there now. Number 3 goes to the quite pompous Humpty Dumpty, who stubbornly refuses to consider the dangers of sitting on high walls when you're an egg, and takes distinct offense if you confuse his cravat with his tie. That part's kind of understandable.
But a person doesn't know a cravat from a belt.
And in 2nd place, we have the Mad Tea Party and its trio of characters. The Mad Hatter, the Sleepy Dormouse, and the March Hare, trapped in an endless cycle of riddles and tea time. It's like purgatory, but with tea. Honestly, that doesn't sound that bad to me. But okay, I know, if these 3 are number 2, who could possibly be number 1? Well, I saved the number 1 position for the incomparable, the infamous, wait for it, Old Father William. The surprisingly nimble old man from the poem Alice recites to the caterpillar.
You are old, Father William,
The young man said, and your hair has become very white.
and yet you incessantly stand on your head. Do you think at your age it is right?
He's a somersault king and a health ointment influencer intent on training the next generation to carry on his good work.
How about a bottle, mister? Only costs a penny, guaranteed.
If I've learned anything from Father Williams, it's this. Wonderland is a collage. I mean, it's made in large part from remixes of already familiar figures transformed by Carol's imagination. To really understand Wonderland, we need to look both before and beyond Alice. We see this clearly with Humpty Dumpty and the Knave of Hearts, who predate Wonderland and who have kept their fame as nursery rhyme superstars. Am I the only one having little baby bump flashbacks here? Sneakier but just as fun are the roots of the Cheshire Cat, the Tea Party guests, and Father William himself. Come pull on these threads with me and let's see where they lead us. Because this project got big really fast and has basically eaten my brain at this point, I've shaped it into a 4-part series. Part 1, Pre-Cinema Alice. Lewis Carroll published Alice in Wonderland in 1865, and cinema arrived on the scene in 1895. That's 3 decades of Alice before moviegoing even existed. But Wonderland was already very much multimedia. We'll look at illustrations, theatrical productions, magic lantern slides, and more. These built Alice in the public mind and set the stage for later adaptations. Part 2, Early Cinema Alice. We'll explore the first film versions, like the 1903 Alice that featured a very real Cheshire Cat. These years forged film language and moviegoing, and Alice sits right inside that history. There are some truly fascinating backstories from this era that I can't wait to share. Part 3, Golden Age Alice. Major studio adaptations take the spotlight here. The 1951 Disney feature, of course, how could I not? But also Walt's earlier Alice shorts from the 1920s, the star-studded 1933 version with Cary Grant and W.C. Fields.
Beautiful soup, who cares for fish, game or any other dish?
And my alter ego, Betty Boop's wanderings in Blunderland. Part 4, Modern Reimaginings. We'll jump from Burton and anime to TV specials, mobile and indie games, oddball ads, and art house takes, tracing how each era remixes Alice in its own image. And I'll make the case for a personal favorite that, let's just say, rhymes with Jabberant.
Hey man, I know what we can do. Take off her head. Yeah, let's take off.
But what does Alice mean? Is it academic satire, political critique, a map of adolescent growing pains, a story about gender rules and how we wriggle around them, a psychedelic spiral? Or is it more like a mirror that shows each era what it wants to see? Let's keep these questions handy and keep going. In the next chapters, we'll see how different versions choose to remix Alice and what those choices reveal.
We take you now to Kermit the Frog with another fast-breaking news story.
Yeah, well, where's the White Rabbit? Late again, huh? Well, we'll just probably have to start without him.
To come back to where we started, why is a raven like a writing desk? As you may already know, this is the Mad Hatter's famous riddle with no answer, and that open-endedness is part of the joke and part of the appeal. That kind of tongue-in-cheek, radical openness is at the heart of my fascination with Alice in Wonderland, and curiosity loves company. I hope you'll join me as we dive down this rabbit hole of all things Alice, past and present. Which adaptation is your favorite? Are there any obscure versions you think deserve more attention? Why do you think Alice in Wonderland has remained such a force in popular culture? Share your Alice memories, opinions, and recommendations in the comments below. I'd love to read them. My family will be very glad that I have people to talk to about Alice in Wonderland other than them.
I gone mad.
Afraid so. You're entirely bonkers. But I'll tell you a secret. All the best people are.
If you're up for joining me on this journey through Wonderland and beyond, please consider subscribing and giving this video a like. It helps the algorithm notice our little corner of curiosity, much like Alice noticed that stressed out white rabbit in the waistcoat. But does that make Alice the algorithm and us the white rabbit? I was just trying to make a cute comparison. Let's not think about that too hard.